Okay, what we're going to be going over now is a picker view, and a picker view is like kind of like the wheel that they spin on The Price is Right, if you know that show. And it's just kind of a wheel. I think if you've used a device in the last couple of years, you know what it is, but we'll show you what it is in a sec too. So it's just a device that you can spin a wheel that will display different values. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a picker view, and it's going to have 4 different fruits and then 4 different colors, and we're going to match the fruit to the color, and if they match it, then we'll display that there's a match. Otherwise it just won't display anything. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's create a function called PickerView, and then we'll create our window, and then we're going to create our picker. So let's create our picker. All right. And then what we're going to do is add our picker to our window, and then we'll create our 4 columns. So the first column will be our fruit, and so a picker can have multiple columns, and then the columns will each have items or rows. So our fruit column equals ti.ui.createPickerColumn, and then we'll add a row directly to that column. So fruit column.addRow ti.ui.createPickerRow, and we'll pass into it a title, and our first one will be bananas, and then we'll have a value that we're going to set as a custom property. So this is not a built-in property, so we must start it with an underscore, and then we'll put the value as yellow because that's the background color that we're going to set for the next column, our color columns. And then we'll do the same thing with strawberry, which would be red, as the value. So fruit column add ti.ui.createPickerRow, and then title will be strawberries, and then the value underscore value equals red, and then we'll do a fruit column.addRow and then we're going to add our oranges, title.oranges, and then the value would be orange, and then the last one we'll add is grapes, and that could be purple or green, whatever. So grapes, and then the value will be purple. So then we're going to create our color column. So var color column equals ti.ui create picker column, and then color column add row, and we'll do our first color, and all we're going to do is just set a background color, yellow, and that's going to be so this yellow right here will match up with this yellow on the underscore value. So the functionality that this picker view is using is a little bit more complicated than any of the others, but it shouldn't be too hard to follow. And then we'll set a width of 25 and a height of 25, and we'll do the same thing for every color. So close out of the color, add row, and then we'll add our next color, which would be red for strawberries, and width and height of 25 again. And then we're going to add our orange column, and then we're going to add our grapes column, which would be purple. So background color equals purple. And if you didn't know, the background color can pass in both a string for the most common colors. It can also pass in a hexadecimal value. Okay, and then all we're going to do is create an array that holds both of our columns, and then we add those columns to our picker. So picker add and then columns. And then I like to use the selection indicator. It's just a bar that kind of displays the value. It's more clear to see it that way, but you don't have to use it. So we're going to do a selected color equals null and a selected fruit equals null, and we're going to set those with the value of the row when it's changed. So then we have our selected fruit that is null, and now we're going to do a picker.addEventListener, and then the listener is called change, and so this will fire every single time the row stops on a new value. It doesn't matter which column it is, it's going to stop. To know which column it is, we're going to call e.columnIndex. So that's going to be the index of the column. It will be 0 and 1 for us because 0 would be the fruit and 1 would be the color. So then we're going to get our row value, which is e.row. And this is how we're going to get our e.value from the selected fruit column. So if this column index equals 0, then we're going to set our selected fruit row with the row. And then if else, it would equal the selected color equals row. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to say, okay, if we have both the selected fruit and selected color, then we can check to see if the value equals the background color. So if selected fruit exists and selected color exists, then selected fruit underscore value equals, and then it will be equals the selected color get background color. And so that's the built-in function to get the background color of the other row. So, and then what we'll do is we'll create an alert that says match if that's the case. Otherwise, we're just going to close out of all of these and nothing would happen. So then we can just return this the window. So we close out of our event listener and then return ourself and then export our module. And now let's pull up our view. So here's our, so now let's check our PickerView. We click on it, so we have our columns, which this will be the column and this is a column. So we have our banana, so let's set it to oranges and then we set it to red. Well, that's not a match. But if we set it to orange, oh, it is a match. Let's change it to our bananas and then change it back to our, yeah, that's a match, but that is not a match, and that is not a match, etc. You get the point. So this is just a way that you can use PickerViews. I use them on almost every single application I make.